Hattie and I am back with another speed build. So this time we're doing a pomegranate speed build because this house is going to be the pomegranate's new home. It's actually going to be Dillan's house, and the reason why they are moving there is because Pilar has finally decided that she wants to take her relationship a little bit further with Dillan. I think that Dillan is also feeling the pressure because he's noticed that Pilar may be looking elsewhere. He doesn't really know too much, but he thinks that it might be a nice idea if they moved into his house. So his house is a beach home. I'm going to put his house here, so where you see it right now will be where his home will actually be. But I did move it, I think maybe halfway through, something like that. The reason why I ended up moving it to Willow Creek, believe it or not, as I do with every single build that I think I ever build, it's always in Willow Creek. It's because of lighting, and as much as I love the Bluffs, I love Windenburg, I love the Sims 4 Get Together expansion pack, I just think that Windenburg is really bad for lighting. So when it comes to doing builds like this, it just looks so much better in Willow Creek. And for the gallery photo, to actually put it on the gallery, I thought that the picture turned out really nicely, so I was very happy with that. I hope you like it too, because I don't know, I think it's got to be one of my favourite modern houses so far. I've done a few white builds and this has a really nice look to it. I got a suggestion a while back to do a modern house for the pomegranates and I went through it. I actually really like the suggestion, so that's why I built this house in the first place. I do feel like I still do love the traditional house that they have, and it's not that they're going to get rid of it, it's just that they're going to move out temporarily, and I don't know if they're ever going to move back to it, but it's still their house. They can still go and visit it, they could still move there if they wanted to, just depending on what you think. But I just want to take as many ideas for my Let's Plays as I possibly can, and if the general feeling is that I should move them to a different house, then of course I will do, because sometimes it is nice just for a change of scene. And even though I did redo their house for them, I feel like this house has a nice look to it. It's different, it's just unusual, and it still has a real pomegranate feel about it on the inside, so that's what I liked about it. I thought that Dillan would go for a modern house. Dillan seems to me to be quite a perfect sim. He's very stereotypically perfect, and he's good at everything. I didn't even realise how many amazing skills Dillan has, but he's pretty much maxed out in everything. That is really thanks to the creator though, because the creator MAGICBLUEDRAGON created Dillan, and she is a really good Sims creator. I've actually downloaded a lot of her Sims off the Sims 4 gallery, and of course her links will be below so you can go and check out her Sims too, because I really should give her a shout out, because honestly Dillan has been fantastic for my LP. He's been just what I wanted. He's been just what Pilar wanted as well, and he's fantastic. He's one of my favourite male Sims. I think he's great. But anyway, at this point I was trying to sort out how I would want the roofing. I actually quite like the roofing the way it was, and it reminded me of like a very James Bondy house. I've been creating a lot of James Bondy houses recently, and I've been mentioning James Bond in a lot of my videos. I have no idea why. I honestly have no idea, but I thought that this home, the way it was, it could be a really interesting house. I actually thought about going for a dark colour, like black and red. Something like that would look really interesting and unusual, but I changed my mind, because as much as I like the idea of having a darker house with just different features like that, I just thought no, I'm going to go for a really white, futuristic look, because I love that at the moment. I'm really into my modern builds, and I thought for Dillan, I would want a very perfect looking modern home, and I thought for a beach house, this is perfect. This is absolutely perfect. This is the sort of house that you might see in Miami, I think. No, Malibu, that's it. Miami, oh my goodness. I'm terrible on destinations, but Malibu, thinking about 2.5 Men, things like that. And I've looked at a lot of Cribs episodes as well. I'm pretty sure that Pamela Anderson has a beach home around the area. So yeah, I think that it's a really cool house for that, and you get a lot of different houses around the area. Like, I'm not just generalizing the whole area and saying this house would fit in, but I think that the beach houses are all really different, and I think that this one could be a really cool future modern house, and I like it. So it definitely looks like a beach house for me anyway. Even though it's very pale, I would imagine a traditional typical beach house to maybe have like a straw hut to it, but that's only because I spent a lot of my summer in the Maldives, I think like 2 years ago. It's been ages and I still go on about it now because it was that good. But I think that for me, that's what I think about when I think about traditional beach huts, but didn't really want to go for that look. Anyway, I was going around with the pillars. The pillars really made the build, I thought. In fact, the build looks so different to what it turns out like at this point. Honestly, it looks so kind of different. But I think with the see-through windows, that's something that I really like with the Sims 4. And of course, windows are windows, but the windows that we got with the Spa Day game pack, I absolutely adore them. They're so good for modern builds, and I love the way that they're just different. It's just like a different texture. You can see more things through them. I love it. I can't even describe how much I love those windows. But yeah, so the door as well, I think was with Get Together actually, but a lot of the windows and doors that have been added to the game recently, like in expansion packs or game packs, I feel like it looks like a lot of effort has been made with it. So that is what I did. And I was testing out colours. Now colours, I ended up going with white in the end, just plain old white. But I did try out some possibilities because I wasn't really sure. But the build was incredibly pale. I mean, you'll see by the thumbnail how bright it just ends up. And I think that testing things is nice sometimes. And if you're ever stuck on something, if you're a builder like me, then what I do is I just test things, see how it goes, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But with colours, it can be difficult because there are just so many to choose from. So it can be hard, and that's what I was trying not to make hard for myself. Anyway, this was when it was starting to look a little bit more like home, I think. I think when I started changing around the roofing as well, even though I really like the roofing, I felt like I'd go with more of a housey look. Sorry if you can hear some background noise. I know that I've mentioned it on like a couple of my videos. It's because I'm pre-recording a lot of videos, so there might be some noise at some times, because on the day I'm recording this, I think I've done about 4 videos today. And the reason is because I'm going to my parents' house for like a week and I won't be able to record there because my parents don't like technology very much. I mean, it's mainly my mum. My dad doesn't really have a problem with computers and stuff, and he was always the one that would buy me video games as a child, and he introduced me to The Sims in the first place. But going to my parents' house, I'm always respectful that my mum doesn't really like when I'm on my phone too much, or like, I mean, forbid that I would even record a video in front of her because I couldn't do that. So I'm recording a lot of my videos before I go. And that means that just happens to be on the same day as my neighbour is doing a lot of work on the tractors. So the tractor's probably passed my house about 20 times now. And I'm pretty sure that the tractor went past my window, reversed to see what I was doing, and then went past again. So it's been a hectic day, it really has. But I think I've done about 4 to 5 videos today, but it needs to be done. Like, I have to do videos today, otherwise I won't be able to have anything on the time that I'll be away. But I'm looking forward to seeing my parents. It's something that I think would be a really cool thing to, of course, see them, because I don't see them very much anymore. It's because they live in Switzerland and I live in Germany. So to go and see them, it would probably take about 9 hours to drive there, which is just so far away. They live in the French part of Switzerland, so it's even further from Germany, and it's just a really long journey altogether. So looking forward to it, very excited. Also get to see my sister, so that's always good. And yeah, let me know what you're doing this weekend, if there is a weekend coming up. I have no idea what day I'm posting this. If you're doing something particularly special on a day that I'm posting this, then let me know, because I always like to hear people's plans. But anyway, this was when I was doing the garage area. The garage area, I think I left it blue in the end. After I changed the colour of the garage area, even though I can't remember if it ended up being blue, but no matter what colour I change it to, it always ended up looking blue. I don't know if it's because I just stared at it too long. I don't know, I have no idea. There's also dogs barking. The dogs are so loud where I am, but it's just something that I can't change. Like, it just happens so much. But it'll be so nice when I can get my own place and like I can move out of the area that I'm in at the moment. I just think that I've sort of grown out of it. I don't know. I don't know if anyone else has got that. If you've been like really happy with a house that you've moved into and it just wasn't what you expected it to be. That's what my house is like. Like, I absolutely love my house at the moment, but it's just everything around me. There's like a real problem. So, I don't know, just absolutely hectic at all times. And we moved to the countryside so we wouldn't get any noise, but it's the complete opposite. But anyway, I was going around and I was putting in a balcony area. Now, I don't think there's anything on these balcony areas in the end, so apologies for that. But I'm hoping that with imagination and creativity and all the rest, you might be able to put something in there and it might be able to look really interesting. Of course, if you want to download the house, you can get it from the Sims 4 gallery. It's on there. It's on my profile if you want to go and get it. I don't know how successful it's been. I have no idea how many people have downloaded it. I try and stay off the Sims 4 gallery now because I spend so much time on there. Like, I have the app on my phone and I'm always on it. I'm like always on it. So I've tried to limit myself recently and tried to spend more time on YouTube and being proactive and making videos and doing stuff, because I could spend hours looking at other people's creations and thinking that is a really cool idea. I want to do it. I do try to go on, but just not as much as I used to, because honestly, it can take over. Like, it can seriously take over. It's so much fun. But anyway, this was when I was designing Pilar and Dillan's room. Now, even though we've done no interior work at the moment, I wanted their room to be very open plan and outside. Because it's a beach house, I wanted these like French windows coming out so they could be in the bedroom and they could just be looking out to the sea. I just find that so romantic and cute. Now, I know that probably means that I'm going to have to turn this property around, which I think that I will do just for the view's sake. I think that when the house is turned the other way, it will look a lot more spectacular than it does, because I just feel like for their bedroom, it would look really cool. But then again though, for Jessica and Jane's bedroom, I don't know how that would look. I don't know. I'm going to have to see. You'll see in the Let's Play, you'll see how it looks in the end, and I'll try and figure it out and see how it looks. But if you've got any opinions, let me know, because of course I love your input. It's really important to me, so let me know what you think about the build. I was putting in the pools at this point, so I put some water around the build because I wanted to make sure that it did blend in with the atmosphere around it, and I love water. That's something that I do like, and it just feels really beachy for me to have like pools and things. And I could just imagine that if the bluff was like a fully active area and you could actually use it and use it as good as it looks, so that the girls could actually go and run into the beach area, they could then run into the house and they could use the pool. I just think that would be a really cool idea. I wish that they did something with that. Like, I wish that the beach area would be usable, the Sims could swim, and I just hope that if we ever get a Sims 5 or Sims 6, they will make it more like that. They'll make it so that you could do more things and you could actually go to a beach area and use the beach and have the Sims use the beach rather than just look at it or fish. Because let's face it, not everybody wants to fish. I fished one time and it was absolutely awful. I don't really like fishing. That's just me though. So anyway, this was when I was putting in the landscaping. I put some nice palm trees around, just tried to make it look really beachy and tropical. I thought that this house would probably fit into Oasis Springs as well. If you did want it there, of course you could have it there. And if you didn't have the Sims 4 get together, that could definitely be a possibility. Because I think without the Sims 4 get together, there wouldn't actually be a lot that you'd be missing. Maybe the chimney, and that would be about it. That would be about the lengths to which it goes to, because you'd still have the pool, you'd have everything with it. Maybe some of the things would be missing, but if you don't have everything, I don't think that it would look too odd. Because a lot of the wallpapers, or paints at least, that I used are all base game, so not a lot there, and I think that it should be okay. So if you want to download this house without the Sims 4 get together, of course you could. I would personally stick it in Oasis Springs without the Sims 4 get together. I was putting around some rocks. I love rocks. I just do. I don't know what it is. I think that for tropical builds or for beach houses, rocks really just remind me of the beach. It also fits in very nicely with the surroundings around the property, so I really liked that. I made hardly any effort on the garden, and I have to apologise for that because I don't know what was going on with me this day when I was building. I think I was really distracted. I can't remember. I think it was I think it was because my husband was making his first video on YouTube, so I wanted to be around that to like support him and stuff, and I don't think that I was paying too much attention when I was doing the garden here, so apologies for that. Some days I have my off days and maybe this was just one of them. So garden is very, very plain, but maybe for a beach garden it wouldn't even be that important anyway, and maybe that's what I was half thinking. So I know that it's small, I know that it's probably not the best garden, but for Dillan's house, would Dillan spend so much time in the garden? Probably not. He probably spends more time on the inside of his house, at the gym, jogging, things like that. So don't really think that Dillan would be the sort of person to sit in his garden and enjoy the views and things. So maybe it would be a good idea not to do that. I was also just going around the house and adding some lights at night because that's really important for a build. I just feel like lights make a build, and I felt that, I know that it's changed now, but I felt that at the time making sure that there were lights in was just a really important thing. So by now you'll be able to see the difference between putting a build in the Bluffs and putting a build in Willow Creek. So if you're wondering why I did it, I think that's the answer. Like, that is literally it. You can see it so clearly now. You can see how pale it is. And if you're looking for building tips, if you're looking for anything, any just quick advice on what I would say, how to improve a build, how to make it look better, is to move it to a different plot. And the plots that I like to use the plots near the Goth's house because I feel like they're the best for lighting. Around the time of about maybe between 1 and 3:30, specifically, that's the best time to get a gallery photo. So yeah, that's what I would say, and if you're curious, that's how I personally do it. And I was, of course, just checking things at this point. I was making sure the roofing looked okay. I was trying pretty hard with the roofing. I was also taking loads of gallery photos, but a lot of them are edited out, so you'll notice that, and that is because I spend a lot of time just taking unnecessary gallery photo shots. That is something that I like to do. The door was one of my favourite things about the build. I really liked it in the end, and I know that by this point, because it's really odd the way around I did it. So basically, the bit that you just saw with the exterior of the build, I actually did last, but I wanted to move it forward in my footage. So the build now, like the way that you see the outside, it won't be the finished product. The finished product will be the way that you saw it, if that makes sense. So it's really odd, but I wanted to move it because I wanted you to be able to see how it looks before we move on to the interior. So if you could ignore the door, ignore the window, and just things, and just like focus on the interior, because there'll be screenshots at the end of exactly how the property will look, and of course you can see it all again. Of course, the house isn't going to look very good around it at the moment because it's going to look very suburban-y, and on the gallery photo, unfortunately, it will be in a suburban area, but I have to because I just felt like taking it in the Bluff just didn't look as good as I would want it to look, so that's why I didn't do that. I was on the inside of the house. The inside of the house was something that I had a picture in my mind already of the sort of thing I wanted. So I paid a lot of attention to the way that it was just very modern and grey, but I also wanted to include the pomegranate furniture in. So a lot of the furniture that they do actually have in their house, you might re-see objects here, and that is because I'm a big believer in the fact that if you have a house and you're buying like a new house, you tend to take things with you. So to make it realistic for me, I wanted to have things in the house which would look like the pomegranate family took it with them, and they thought, I'm going to repaint this, or I'm going to do this with it. So that's what I decided to do. So a lot of the things here you will see reused, like Scarlet's doll's house, for instance. I kept it under the stairs. I know that it's a little bit away from the area that they're sitting at, but I still like the idea that Scarlet can sit there. I know she's been a child for about 10 years now, and it's getting old. I get so many comments like, why don't you just age Scarlet up? It's because I like to be able to let her enjoy her childhood. I mean, it's something that a lot of kids nowadays just want to age up, and I was one of those people. Like, when I was 10 years old, when I was 12 years old, I really, really wanted to be an adult. And looking back, I just wish that I enjoyed my childhood. And I feel like for The Sims, it's just a shame, like, because in the past, I've always thought, I need to age this Sim right now. And I don't want to feel like that with Scarlet. Like, I don't want to feel like she needs to age up just for the sake of aging up, or just for the sake of the fact that she's been a child for so long. I like having her as a child, and she will age up soon, but I think that maybe when it's around about her time to. because they have a lifespan of like medium to long at the moment. So I think that when she's becoming maybe older and approaching the end of childhood, then of course I will. And I'll have like a proper birthday party for her. But at the moment, I'm absolutely fine with the way that she's a child and stuff. It doesn't bother me. Same with Jane being a teen. I don't want to rush things because I feel like, me personally, I've rushed all the way through my life. Like, I really have. Even when I was a teen, I was like, I want to be an adult. I want to be older. And it's just such a shame. So I just feel like for The Sims, it's just a really nice thing to have them in an age where I want them to be able to enjoy it and just chill out and just not be able to think about aging my Sims up yet. But anyway, this was Scarlet's room down here. So Scarlet's room is going to have a double bed, and there's no real reason for that. I just thought that would be a nice change. I think that that's the way it ended up being anyway. I hope it is. I have no idea. I'm pretty sure that she ends up with a double bed, and that's just because it's a really big room. I thought it was about time that Scarlet had a choice of bedrooms, and I feel like she got handed a really bad deal when it came to the pomegranate house, because she had the cupboard room. And because I've been the youngest sibling, or at least I still am the youngest sibling, my sister's always had the biggest room, and she always had like the first choice when going to hotels and things. So I thought it would be nice if tables were changed, or tables were turned for a change. At least that's what I was trying to say. So I felt like with Scarlet, it might be a really nice idea for her to have her own bedroom, and she'd be able to have the biggest room. And of course, Jane and Jessica still get a really nice room. They actually have to share though, which I love the idea of those two sharing a room, because it means that you can make the room a little bit more individual. So you will see that. The house is of course completely fitted to the family, and there will be portraits hanging up in the house soon. I haven't done it yet, and the reason is because the family just aren't living here at the moment, because the world which I built this in wasn't even the pomegranate world. Like, I'm pretty sure that a different family live here at the moment, and it's still that best friend family. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned them in other videos. At least it's not Harry Potter's dad, that's all I can say. But anyway, so this was the gym area. The gym area was a place for Dillan to have some fun and of course work on his physique, because I would imagine that that's what he would like to do in his free time. He is very much in shape, so I thought a gym area would be nice for Pilar and Dillan. Upstairs is quite plain, so I did put some mature things here, like not too mature or anything, but as in wine arrangements. I think that's the best way that I can describe it. Just random objects that you wouldn't see in a child-friendly house. This house is not supposed to look child-friendly. It's supposed to look Dylan-friendly. It's supposed to look like the kind of house that he would love, and he would be able to have a really good time here, some parties. And I thought that having things which wouldn't really suit a child atmosphere or even a teen atmosphere would be a really accurate thing to put here, because moving from the pomegranate house to Dylan's house, that is what I would imagine it to be like. Now, Dillan is actually quite wealthy. As well as everything else, he is extremely good looking, he's extremely wealthy, he's extremely talented. The reason he's wealthy is because he has a very good profession. I thought with like a level 8, 9 or 10, I can't remember what level he is in his profession, but with that sort of leveling, I couldn't really imagine him to be struggling for money, so that is why he's going to live in this big house. Now this is the girls' room in here. I had so much fun decorating these walls. The walls here are just very specified for Jessica and Jane. So this is Jane's side, of course. It's got her club banner. So she's in the fake, so she's got the fake banner there. She's got her coffee that she took the poster from the pomegranate house. Jessica over here has got her random school things, and she's got her club logos and whatnot, and that is just very her. So I just think that these rooms are just really cool, and I would imagine that sharing like a boarding school dormitory, like a university, I don't even know, where you would have this situation, maybe like a sorority house or something similar to that. It's just a really unusual thing. I love the idea of having this individual personalities of both of them. So I was very happy with how this room turned out. I was then just doing a seating area in the middle, which would be the place where they could socialise, they could sit, they could have friends over, and they could just relax there. I wanted it to be an area which wouldn't be to suit Jane or Jessica, just like a neutral area that they could just sit down in the middle and that sort of stuff. The walls were white, and that is because it's Dylan's house, and I feel like Dillan would say, no, you're not allowed to paint the walls or anything, so that's why all the walls are white, and that is just the reason. I just find that this house is very accurate to what I would imagine it to be like. So that's why I did that. This was Dillan and Pilar's rooms. This is the last bedroom. The house itself has 3 bedrooms. So one for Scarlet, Jane and Jessica, and of course Dillan and Pilar. So this is their very open plan room. I think that this room didn't really, well, I couldn't really do it justice on the photo of the gallery screenshot of the house. Unfortunately, I would have loved to be able to show you like this room on the photo if you've seen it on the Sims 4 gallery, because this is one of the best rooms, I feel. Even though it's outside, it's a really odd place to put it. I just think it's really interesting, the idea of those doors just opening and there's a hot tub there. I love that. Okay, so I did put a hot tub on Jane and Jessica's side as well, so that'll be pretty interesting. I forgot about that. But that is the end of the build, so I really hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you all for the Let's Play. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon.